Hello, and a very warm welcome to the English Story Nook. We are so glad you could join us for another story. Today, we're diving into a story about the hidden dangers of our digital world. Get ready to discover what happens when a normal work meeting turns into a strange and mysterious experience that a data analyst cannot escape. It is a modern thriller that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Before we dive in, if you enjoy our stories and want to support what we do, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and consider buying us a coffee on Ko-fi. There's a link in the description below. Every like, subscription, and small contribution helps us keep creating great content for English learners like you. Let's get started. The meeting that never ended. Diane Barr was by nature a meticulous individual. As a senior data analyst at Silmavanta Analytics, her talent was finding patterns in chaos, bringing order to sprawling data sets. Her screen was her sanctuary, a world of clean lines and logical progressions. That evening, however, her sanctuary felt compromised. An urgent meeting invitation had appeared an hour ago, titled Project Nightingale Debrief. It was from Joaquin Khan, a director she rarely interacted with. The timing was strange, but the directive was clear. Attendance was mandatory. She clicked Join, and her world began to tilt. The virtual meeting room was populated by the ghosts of her colleagues. Their profile pictures, static, smiling corporate headshots, lined the side of the screen. Only Joaquin's camera was active, but he seemed oddly disconnected, his speech pre-recorded. He spoke in vague corporate platitudes about synergy and forward momentum. It felt deeply incongruous, a pantomime of a meeting rather than a real one. When he finally said, "Thank you for your time," Diane moved her cursor to the Leave button. It was grayed out. The call was over, but the window remained, a permanent fixture on her desktop. A technical glitch, she assumed. A persistent, annoying glitch. By the next morning, the glitch had evolved. The meeting window was still there, a ubiquitous digital scar she couldn't erase. She tried every solution she could think of. Force quitting, restarting, even running a diagnostic. But it clung to her system. Then came the whispers. Faint, distorted sounds, like a radio tuned to a dead channel, began to emanate from her speakers. She felt a cold knot tighten in her stomach. This was no longer a glitch. It was a presence. The feeling of constant surveillance began to creep in. She taped a piece of paper over her laptop's camera, but it did little to ease the sensation of being watched. The psychological warfare began in earnest. A report she had finalized the day before now contained flawed calculations. A calendar entry for a crucial deadline had been shifted by a week. It was subtle, deniable, and utterly maddening. This was classic gaslighting, and it was working. She started to second-guess her own work, her own memory. Her colleague, Tello Tobar, offered to help with a sympathetic smile. "You've been working too hard, Diane," he said, his eyes lingering on her screen. "Let me take a look." His offer, meant to be kind, felt threatening. Was he the source of this chaos? The idea seemed plausible. He had always shown an unnerving interest in her projects. Her carefully constructed reality started to unravel. The meeting window was no longer just a window. It was a portal for her tormentor. Messages began appearing in the chat. Comments that referenced private conversations she'd had, jokes she'd made with friends. The stalker was not just in her computer, they were in her life. Her manager, Leighton Hutchinson, listened with a concerned frown as Diane tried to explain the inexplicable events. A meeting that won't end? Files changing on their own? Leighton's tone was gentle, but the implication was clear. Perhaps you should take some time off. The pressure has been immense. The gaslighting was so effective that, for a moment, Diane almost believed her. Maybe she was just breaking down. The final straw came not as a whisper, but as a formal email from a rival company, congratulating her on accepting a new position, an offer she had never received, for a job she had never applied for. The stalker had created a digital doppelganger, a phantom version of her built from stolen data, and was using it to systematically dismantle her career. It was an insidious plan, designed not just to harass her, but to erase her. The spyware didn't just watch. Its purpose was to perpetuate a state of confusion and fear, making her seem unstable to the outside world. She finally understood. If she couldn't prove what was happening, her professional life would be over. That realization sparked a change. The fear didn't vanish, but it was now joined by a cold, clear anger. She was a data analyst. Her entire career was built on finding the signal in the noise. This spyware, this ghost in her machine, had a source. It had a digital footprint. Her approach had been wrong. Instead of trying to escape the surveillance, she would use it. She would feed the watcher. Her work had always been meticulous, and her trap would be no different. She created a dummy project folder, burying it deep in a shared server, and baited it with files referencing a fake, catastrophic flaw in Silmavanta's flagship software. It was a piece of information that someone looking to ruin her reputation would find irresistible. She spent the next day performing her distress, leaving the bait open on her screen, occasionally typing frantic, misspelled messages into a text file about her discovery. The meeting window remained, its ubiquitous presence a constant reminder of the stakes. Tello approached her desk, his face a mask of concern, but she waved him away. Then it happened. A system alert, one she had secretly configured herself, flashed in the corner of her screen. Someone had accessed the dummy folder from an internal IP address. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she traced it. The IP wasn't Tello's. It was registered to Leon Hutchinson. Leon, her supportive manager, who had been next in line for the promotion that everyone knew was going to Deanne. The motive was as old as time: professional jealousy, executed with terrifyingly modern tools. The seemingly kind concern was just another incongruous piece of the puzzle that now made perfect sense. Armed with irrefutable proof, server logs, access times, and a recording of Leon's IP downloading the fake files, Deanne bypassed HR and went straight to the top. The fallout was swift. Leon was fired, her attempts to deny everything collapsing under the weight of the digital evidence. The company's cybersecurity team descended on Deanne's machine, finally scrubbing the insidious program from her hard drive. The meeting, at long last, had ended. But its ghost lingered. The world felt different now, the line between the physical and digital worlds thinner than she had ever imagined. Her sense of reality no longer threatened to unravel, but it had been permanently altered. She had survived the creation of her digital doppelganger, but she knew she would never forget the feeling of being watched, of having her own mind used as a weapon against her. The experience was a brutal lesson in the dark potential of the connected world, a world where the most dangerous threats are the ones you can't see. That's the end of our story for today. It was quite a thrilling journey, wasn't it? Technology can be incredibly helpful, but it can also be a little scary sometimes. What are your thoughts on this? We would love for you to share your ideas in the comments. Remember to check the description box below for helpful resources to continue your practice. Thank you for spending your time with us at the English Story Nook. Keep practicing your English, stay curious, and we cannot wait to see you again for our next story. Happy learning and goodbye for now.